Amazwi angcwele asinelwe uhambo lwethu khona emhlabeni asichazele inhliziyo yakhe ovuma ngena enhlizweni yakhe amazwi okuphila asipha amandla ayasinwetha lapha emhlabeni siyalahleka amazwi endulo ekhaya amazwi amahle aguqulile inhliziyo zethu yebo sizile baba siyavuma baba sizoni baba enhlizweni zethu amazwi amahle inhliziyo zethu yebo sizile baba siyavuma baba sizoni baba amazwi angcwele yemthethweni siyawakhulwa nguba siphile njengamaKristu wena hamba ngokuqonda uyigcine emthethweni ukholwe kuJehova amazwi angcwele agcine uhambo lwethu Holy words of faith handed down to this age came to us through sacrifice. Oh, hear the faithful words of Christ, patient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Amazwi endulo aleqiniso so aguqula mina nawe sisile siyavuma angene enhlizweni zethu.
Welcome to Reality Table, the most exciting youth talk show that we have on this planet. And today, yes, things look different because we are in a men's cave. Yes, we are in a men's cave discussing manly things, And wow, the platform is everybody you know that has been on this talk show, but those who are representing the guys. And our topic and title today is Boys to Men. Boys to Men. What are we discussing? Issues affecting young men so that they can develop to become men. And my co-host here, Pastor Dickett, is going to give us pointers on issues we're going to discuss. I know we've got plenty of items to talk about, but today we'll probably focus on 5. But before we do so, Pastor Dickett, let me read you this verse. I like it. 1 Kings chapter 2. I think it's verse number 2. It was David when he was about to go the way of his father. So he says, I'm going the way of all the earth, but be thou strong and be thou a man.
Be thou a man.
The other one says, show yourself a man.
Yeah.
So we want to groom these young boys To become
men.
Yes, that's why we're here.
Say it like this: these boys to become us.
Yes, these boys to become us.
Simple and straightforward.
So the topic is
boys to men.
Boys to men. So
boys to men.
What we're going to do is very simple. Pastor Dickett is going to be giving us our line of thought in the aspects that we must discuss. I know there's plenty we could talk about, but today we probably just focus on 5, and we might just do another one in the next coming few weeks. What could be one of the things that we want to discuss, Pastor Dickett?
And this is very unique. Thank you so much for the young people who are joining us. I think here we need to crunch things and speak men to men.
Yeah.
No bars held. We are going to speak men to men. I just want to throw it out there and say, what do we say about the grind? What is your grind? A lot of people are educated, got degrees, and we've got a lot of stuff under our in our folders. This one chemical engineer, this one is great stuff. But the question is, what is your grind, your day-to-day grind? And here we want to speak as men. We don't want to hide anything. What is ticking your clock right now in terms of finances? What are you up to apart from going to school? What else are you doing, working with your hands? Our current situation in Zimbabwe right now, we all know it. You've got to have a side grind. So this is where we want to go to now. And yes, you are a preacher, man. You preach. When you are done preaching, what is your grind?
Well, Pastor Dickett, before the young people talk, is it okay for an 18-year-old boy, 21-year-old, 26, to ask for airtime from their mom?
Here's a question. And the 18, 21, and 28-year-old has a girlfriend.
Ah, come on.
So now we are complicated now. He has a girlfriend, but is asking for airtime from mommy, eating mommy's food. So maybe the boys can tell us. Ben, is it okay?
Technically speaking, it's not okay. It's not okay for someone who is eating mommy's food, sleeping in mommy's bed, wearing mommy's clothes, and having mommy's airtime to be spending it as well on someone.
So she might as well be mommy's girlfriend.
Exactly. Now, looking at the aspect of age that you have mentioned here, and looking at the economic setbacks as a country, or maybe in general, as people in general, I think that's where we get to a point whereby we introduce these elements of side hustles, of grinds. But now, looking at an 18-year-old person, probably some of them, they are in school, right? But I remember by the time when we were in school, looking at college setup, college life, people could always come to us, say, Ben, I want this printed. We could always print and photocopy things for what? For them, even once the parents are paying what? Are paying fees. So as a young person, as a boy, right, at 18 in Zim, we say that you are old enough to be someone. So at 18 as a young person, you need to have something that you can do on your own. I remember my first computer to repair, that was way before I was even 16, to repair my first computer. And it was even my father who even linked me to a person, someone to come from Marondera, and to say that there's this young person, if you tell him to fix your problem, he can. And then I have to make what? I have to make ends meet. So as young people, we don't need to just sit back and relax and fold hands and say that everything's going to come on a silver what? On a silver plate. There are certain things that you can do as a person, right? But what is it that you can do? Ask yourself and see what it is that you are able to do.
And I just have a question right at that moment. It sounds very nice to say someone came from Arondera to get his laptop fixed by you. It sounds very nice.
It is nice.
Why is it that we are afraid to do the dirty jobs? To go to Mbare and buy potatoes for someone who needs them, get dirty at it, and get paid for your dirtiness. Why is it embarrassing? Why are we all looking for the nice? Come on, guys. Why are we looking for that? Why is it embarrassing?
Well, before you come, for Adventist young men, they always want to look sharp with the tie, with the with the blue, with the brown shoes.
The brown belt.
The brown belt. So they can't get their hands dirty.
Now that's the thing. Now.
Okay. People have the tendency of living for the society. What will the society say if I do this? To tell you the truth, me, when you look at me, I'm into construction. I'm a number 1 assistant builder. I hold that shovel like big time. I'm very strong. Why is that so? I love this statement which says, he is richest, he who is content to the least. For content is the wealth of nature. What am I saying? Yes, there is food on the table when I come out from my circles, right? There is breakfast for me, right? There is lunch for me. My mother is taking care of me. There is a roof under my had, right? So I'm content with what I have. So I'm richest, right? But if I'm content with what I have, I might reach 40 years being taken care by my mom because I'm content. So I have to get out of my comfort zone. How do I get out of my comfort zone? I take a look at the animal called a tiger. A tiger is one of the fastest animals on this planet. A tiger has many rods during the night. It is very sharp-minded, right? But a tiger goes into the river or the dam where there are crocodiles, right? It is getting out of its comfort zone to go into the river to look for something apart from the normal meal, right? The tiger knows that in the river there are crocodiles, and the crocodiles are in their zone, right? If the crocodiles catch the tiger is dead, right? That's a risk it took because it is now fed up with beef. It now wants chicken. So being content is okay, but if you are too content, you might reach 40 years being taken care by mom. You need not to look at the society. I can give you an example. It's a testimony. Last week, Sunday, I got a contract like where I live. It's still a developing area. So I was called after Sabbath. There's this contract, 20 Mabara, a river. They wanted to be shifted from somewhere. I woke up to 5 a.m. in the morning. There was 20 years for those 20 baras, right? I woke up around to 5 early in the morning, then went there. By 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 years was down because we were working till 2, right? So I have everything. My mom can supply everything for me, but I should get out of my comfort zone, right? Be like a tiger. Like in psychology, you say we use the 180-degree mindset, right? Stretch the horizon of your righteousness. Look beyond what you have.
Now, what I like about what you're saying is everything you're saying is very dirty. Everything you're saying.
Majecha, even the word majecha is...
Even the way I'm thinking. So you woke up in the morning to push a wheelbarrow. But you're saying there's US there. I'm waking up this body, which wants to sleep. I'm going to push it.
Yeah.
This mindset is what makes the person where we are even putting this recording on Facebook. Their success started in garages.
True.
Because they were not sleeping when they should have been thinking.
Yes.
So I'm asking also now to say, at this point where you're working so hard with the menial jobs, where is your pride? You're a man.
Yes.
Where is your pride? Where is your ego? Do you have a girlfriend while doing this thing? I want to ask.
No, you know what they often say?
Yeah.
They say sweetness comes from the sweat.
Yes, true. So I'm asking now, in our generation, to say, are these boys having girlfriends while pushing those wheelbarrows? So I want to ask someone else, maybe let me ask Calvin, to say, imagine in your Adventist state, you are pushing the barrels in the morning and you meet her.
Yes.
30 as ever. What will cross your mind at that moment?
Will you be proud for that? Yeah, come on now.
Because me and you, we have no choice because we're married. We now know the value of pushing the wheelbarrow. But before, you would never want to be seen like you are suffering. So I'm asking the generation that we have, that is going to be the future generation, what is your situation?
Okay, let me be very, very frank with you. Kupusha para ushina ushikayo chavichavu une upfu pa trousers. Why took out on your crash, you could really run away and choose another road. I think we can actually agree.
Yeah.
Why is it so? I want to come to a point where, because we are Adventist young men who are taught to live a life that they don't deserve. We wear suits that we can't even afford. I even go to take a trouser and a brown shoe and a green tie so that I can match and go to a big Sabbath. I'll tell you this. Yesterday, I went to this other big program in iTunes. I was actually driving a car that was not mine. But wow, it was.
And you had too late. It had the impact.
I ripped. So, because
of that. Grand entrance when you came in. Where you got the car, didn't man? And you kept on switching on and switching on. I forgot something in the car.
I think the sermon should have been, behold, it was borrowed.
And you actually go a bit later so that people see you, so that they can actually notice you. So because of these things, we don't then do this borrow thing, this everything, because we live a life that we have pretended to people that we don't go under.
Yeah.
This, you get it now. So when we then do outside hustles and then people notices us, we are so ashamed because we lived a life that is not mine. I'll tell you a testimony. I have a friend of mine who started picking bottles for recycling. We used to laugh at him. Oh, so one day he was at Seke Road picking bottles and he then met this other girl from church. It was a disaster now. And the girl was like, so this guy, he picks bottles for recycling. You know, people who usually do that are when wakanopenga bishana, you know, wakatokura masaka, you get it now. But the guy aka pika and he aka ora like maricha ma yes ma Benjamin chawo. And we had to go to him and say Shane aka come chimboti kwerete sawo mari. But that came from the bottles. So the pride is now, we are ashamed because at the very onset we pretend to people.
So quickly, a wise man once said, someone who's driving their father's car has no right to contribute in a council of those who own bicycles.
Bicycles, yes.
So
You're right.
if these boys own bicycles and you're driving your father's car, you don't
have
qualify
right
to be in the conversation.
The one that bent.
Yes. So I'm trying to bring across a statement to say, you are too embarrassed to be seen to be on the grind, but you have the audacity to ask a girl out.
Yes.
This is not telling. You are talking about budgetary constraints. What makes you go and ask out? Is it not an extra expense on what is already not there? Are you not living a lie when you do that?
You actually are. And I think I would like to go back a bit. When we're talking about the church, it's a good thing that we are having this conversation, but I think it should start at church level. Some person was saying this at my local church. They're like, someone asked them, this someone is from another church. It was on a Sabbath. And they asked them, oh, what are you selling today? And obviously they replied saying, I'm not selling anything today because it's a Sabbath. There's no way I can sell anything. Then the person from the other church asks, Sakamchano in the say for tithes and offerings. So it's something that should start at our local churches, because as has been said already, as the Adventist church, I think we are probably too smart for some of these things. And I see it, and it not only affects us as boys, and probably we end up asking for things from our parents and all, but it also affects us. By the time probably things get better, we get our jobs, how will we end up returning the proper tithe? How will we end up giving a good offering to the Lord?
You know what, Pastor Dickett? I remember when I was at Solusi. I had a friend, he's actually a very good friend of mine. I can say it on TV because fortunately, he's actually the FD at ADRA. We were roommates. So he says, you know what, Solusi, during our days, Solusi had so many students. I'm not so sure now, but we're almost close to 3,000. And then he was saying, have you ever thought about selling airtime? So I looked at him, I said, my guy, me
selling airtime.
Airtime. Come on, I mean, I'd talk of something else. Airtime. And he says, no, but have you thought about it? We are almost 2,000 students here. People get into a combi to go to town 50 kilometers away to go and buy airtime. When we can, then I said, no, but there are so many people who have nothing to do on this campus who could actually sell airtime. But he managed to convince me. So we thought of selling airtime. I tell you, my guy, I'm ever thankful to that guy that we were selling airtime. Of course, the first time that we did it, you know, people were like, come on, look at these guys. But eventually, I realized that sometimes when you really want to go for something, don't really worry about what people think.
I think also that it tells you how well you know yourself. Because if you are worried about your image, about being something, you will lose everything. Do you know this pride we are talking about is something that resonates with everyone? In Zimbabwe will humble you.
Of course.
As a young person with masters, you will work at Spa. I have friends with masters packing bread. So it's not the packing bread that I'm worried about. It's how they pack the bread.
Yeah.
That tells me this guy is not just a bread packer from nowhere.
Yeah.
It's meticulously how they pack the bread.
It's
Why are you-
masterly done.
Why are you putting so much effort? And he tells you, no, I've got masters.
Yeah.
You know, there's one guy who was driving a combi who was renting a cottage.
Okay.
And one of his papers fell on the floor. He has masters in marketing.
Yeah.
But he's driving a combi.
Yeah.
If you see him, you'll think this is a useless guy.
Yeah.
You rather drive his own combi than to work and not be paid.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm coming into now is, now that we've established that we should work, it is witchcraft for you to ask out a girl before you have sources of finance. What am I saying? I'm saying, in the Garden of Eden, Adam is given a woman before the work. Never. He's given the work.
Before the woman.
The first thing he needs to train up to dress, before to dress a human being, is the garden. So when he dresses up the garden, he has an idea of how to dress up a human being. True. But in the garden, there are 4 streams
Yeah.
that sustain the garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of what?
So you need 4 streams of income when you're a man.
All right.
Your degree is 1.
Yes.
What else are you doing? You got 3 to go.
True.
So you will find that the other things that you call useless will sustain you when your salary disappoints. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So as a young man, you need 4 streams of income.
Yes.
You need 4 hustles, 4 grinds. Why? You need to be then the priest of the home. You need to be then to be able to give a tithe
Yes.
and an offering to God.
All right.
So this brings me to another point to say, as Adventists, young men,
Yeah.
why is it that the young youth are not returning a tithe and offering? They are waiting to marry and get old or get jobs to return a faithful tithe. What are you giving?
Well, the commandment says 6 days
Thou shalt.
Shall labor.
thou shalt labor.
Yes.
So for you to rest on the Sabbath and you were resting the whole week,
You're finished.
it's not only witchcraft, it's not only sin, it's
Sorcery.
beyond.
Sorcery.
So you must, for you to be able to keep the Sabbath, you must actually
Be tired.
work.
Yeah. Be tired.
The 6
To
days.
rest.
Well, for the young people who are at home, especially the young men, you can freely contribute on our live chat box and see and contribute and talk to us on these issues that we're discussing. So on point number 1, Pastor DK is saying you must have your
Grind.
grind.
Have a grind.
Yes.
So have a hustle. Make sure you are having something you're doing with your hands.
Yes.
That's what you should have.
Whatever your hands find to do it to the best of your ability. Before we go to point number 2, is there anyone who still...
I want to say something.
Okay, quickly and nice, short and sweet.
Okay. Education can be the root to poverty. Education. Why am I saying so? You have your degree. You have this. If you have this thing which is called pride in yourself, pride is something which eats us a lot. So you might have a degree and say, if you have a degree, most people with degrees, they claim that I'm superior to do this job. I don't do this job. Me,
overqualified.
I do psychology. I'm a 2-2 student and I'm an A student at Great Zimbabwe University. I'm recognized there. But you will find me in the field. Like I wake up to 5 in the morning, then get out of the field at 9 in the morning, then get out to the other grinds. You see, I wake up around to 5 early in the morning, kunotora majeje angu na 8 ndadoneza 10 US yangu.
And you're telling me all this as a recognized student who most probably has got a great future. You are saying future, no future, I have to do this now.
Because that's what it is. Zimbabwe is this the survival of the fittest.
Yes.
If you don't, a lion, a cheetah, all those big animals, they strive to survive. They go to their extremes so that they get what they want. Because that's what's on the ground. I'm not in the UK where I get paid more money per month because I have a psychology degree. I'm in Zimbabwe where I won't even be recognized that I have a psychology degree.
Yeah.
So I just have to do what's on the ground. Yes. So education can be the root to poverty.
And I also think we are quick as young people to say I have an office in town.
Yeah.
We love to have an office in town.
Yeah.
We love to have an office in town. But this brings me back to my point to say you can pay rent for the office in town, but what have you given to the Lord?
Okay.
What are you tithing?
Yeah.
And what are you tithing, gross or net? This is where the challenge comes in to say, As young people, we've been unfaithful for such a long time.
Yes.
God is not asking us only to tithe money, He's asking us to tithe our time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To tithe our environment. Keeping the environment clean is a form of tithe.
Yeah.
To tithe a relationship, not to be in toxic relationships, to be in a relationship where you are saying, the boys are fun, but the boys are toxic to me.
Okay.
The boys are not moving. We're not moving together. Yes, they are making money, but their money is upon another man's sweat.
Yes.
Are you able to move out of that sphere? Because thus says the Lord. So, Ben, in your IT industry, when you fix someone's laptop, do you really replace the part you are charging them for? And if you didn't replace it and they've paid you, when you return a tithe and offering from unfaithful sales, is it a tithe and offering, or you are giving God a cut?
Giving God a cut.
Okay.
Stealing.
So Mfundis, are you saying that a man without a hustle is not allowed to have a girlfriend?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm saying, why do you want to dress a human being before you dress the garden? You see what God does? He brought in the garden before he put in the man.
Powerful.
So what sustains the man is the garden.
Okay.
So what sustains the woman is the work of the man. So if the man brings in an expense without having a solution to the expense, he's going to create a problem where he's going to say women like money.
Yeah.
Because he's broke.
I read that quote.
Yeah.
It says, kune vakomana vanoti he handidyiwe mari nezvimoko handidyiwe mari nezvimoko. Tikanzi iwewe yekuti umbodyawo wega una here.
Finished.
Yeah. Wow, that's
hauna time yekugara kana mubakers inn kutenga ration nemachips nejuice re50 bond uchigara uchidya wega, but you're claiming kuti vakadzi vanoda mari, handidyiwe mari nevakadzi, but yekudya wega you don't have it.
So let me understand this. When you don't put your hand on the plow to work for yourself, you'll end up being like dependent on a woman.
Yes.
So we have marriages where Kwati are no longer working. You've never worked. Your wife is the one working, but you're the one wanting to demand how the money is being used. How do you become a priest in the house when the situation is like that? It becomes difficult. Remember, there are two situations here. I'm not talking about someone who was once working and has lost his job and the wife is helping out. No, I'm talking about someone who doesn't work.
You know, in mathematics, there used to be 0 minus 1. What is the answer?
It can't.
It can't.
It can't.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So we are having Bible-holding people who are very smart business looking on the Sabbath.
Yes.
And yet, from Monday to Friday, they have nothing.
They have nothing.
Do you know something, Fundis, that boys are now actually sitting Papiriji and they can discuss that Ndoda Bebrine Mari because they are so lazy to work.
Yes.
It's been so trending in the past years that ane Bebrine Mota, ane baby get it.
Yeah.
That people are now willing to go for girls that have it and not to go for these ones that would require responsibility from them. So because of laziness now, you end up chasing things than what the right channel is. So you talked about a garden, then marriage, then a girlfriend, but it's now vice versa.
No, not marriage, then a girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
After marriage, no girlfriend, after marriage, my guy. Don't put the girlfriend, then marriage.
So it's a garden, girlfriend, then marriage.
Yes.
So now it's now vice versa. Courtship and marriage is now being taught to people that don't have grinds now.
Yeah.
And they are now starting with girlfriends without grinds.
Yeah.
And they would have problems within the relationship because they started on a wrong course or in a wrong start. So if you follow God's principles, have a grind first. Be able to take care of yourself, buy your own shoes, but be a man enough for yourself. So that when you go for a girlfriend, you are not depending on her or kukweleta mari kune boys kutoende out, you know.
But no. Wait, just hold on. There's nothing wrong with having your boys who have your back. Let's make that clear.
That is so clear.
But they must be adding on to something.
So it's like you go and say, you know what, I'm going out with my girlfriend.
Yes.
And say, I'm expecting to spend something like $20.
Yes.
So they ask you, how much do you ever have a back? So they have to bring in the 90.
No, that's too much. You know what it's like? It's like saying, I'm anticipating that I'll spend $20. But in case, guys, can you just
But there's
$10,
something already.
You know what I mean?
There's something
already. So that aspect of being able to get a top up from your boys, that's okay.
What about guys?
But now when guys are contributing to everything,
From transport.
to clothes you're wearing.
Yes.
No man, come on.
But they're having your back.
Well, I think now this takes us back to the topic of the day discussion underlying here. That we're saying boys to what?
To men.
Boys to men. Meaningfully saying that there are certain things that are not to be done by boys, but they are for what?
For men.
For men. Boys, that's for what?
That's for boys.
Boys. Yes. But now, if you're talking about men, right? You have to be self-sustainable, like what you're saying, right? Because I can't be this boy, man at the same time, whereby I'm 100% relying, right? You want to lean on me, what if I move, then what? That's why at the end of the day, we end up sharing these ladies with our friends. Because saying that if I'm the one who's funding,
I've got rights. Titles.
Yes.
because we go out.
Well, guys, you hear what Betty's saying. Betty's saying, as long as you depend so much on your friends, they also have the right.
Actually, Ben is saying, if I've ever sponsored you for your girlfriend, I have shares.
I have shares.
What Ben is saying.
Well, you are 100% sustainable to yourself. Okay,
Just make sure you give Ben back his money.
and maybe the other thing, Pastor Dickett, the problem that we have is that, when we are boys, right, we always want to be associated with the men in the society, put the courts, right?
Yeah.
As in, I'm a guy, I'm muscular, I can do things, I can take care of myself.
Yes.
But yet behind the scene, there are certain things that even haunt us as we are we just have to go to that fake way by people think that boys don't cry.
Yeah.
We cry.
Let's find out. You know what I'm gonna do? Wait.
Ben, are you convinced?
Wait, guys. Wait. We're on camera right now. Ben, do you cry?
I do.
Tino, do you cry?
I do.
Talent, do you cry?
Hardly.
Do you cry?
Sometimes.
Okay, you can go ahead. We'll continue this after the break.
So you see that this is the same as this one with the grind, right? People don't want boys don't want to be known that they don't have a solid grind, so they just want to try to to beat about and then try to blend in and to fit in. But when I'm at home now, I'm on my own, then that's where I'm just thinking like, oh man, I've spent $20, so then what?
Wait. Yes. Now, I know you've got so much to talk about the grind because I can see even the guys back home want to go, but we need to move on to our next point.
The next point I want to move on to is we've spoken about men should cry because it's natural.
Yes.
We're talking about men should have a grind so that they are able to tithe to God.
Yeah.
Right? There's something I want to bring across. That why do we spend so much time at the gym buying expensive perfume, buying expensive clothes, but still remain broke? Who are we trying to impress in that situation? Because that forces you now to dress. We always say women dress funny and dress for us.
Yeah, they do.
But there are some body parts that we are now revealing. You don't work. You're always at the gym. But you're wearing these tight-fitting clothes. And all you do is come to church late in the tight pants.
These labels.
And you just, there's a way that we do it. I want to understand, for me, to say, if you have enough money to buy labels, enough money to go to the gym, how come you are not showing signs that there's something constructive you are doing with the money?
So in essence, Pastor, you're saying it's possible for you to put on expensive cologne.
Yes.
You put on nice tight tops.
Yes.
Top of the range suits.
Yes.
But you're still staying with your mother.
This is where we are now confused now to say, it's not telling. For example, when you buy a car's worth should be 10% of what is in the bank account. So if you buy a $5,000 car, it must be 10% of what's in your account. If you buy a $5,000 car and you don't have money in the bank, downgrade that car to a $1,000 car. You don't deserve to drive it.
Tino, you have been deep in thought. What are you thinking, young man?
All right. What I'm thinking right now is that's where the difference between boys and men comes in. There is the case of investment, and then there's the case of just buying and the money goes. Investment, what happens later is your money comes back.
Exactly.
Chances are there it comes back doubled sometimes even tripled. Obviously, the right kind of investment. So I think it's also
Okay,
something.
When you talk of the right kind of investment, because obviously we've got quite a lot of young people who are listening right now, and you are saying investment in Zimbabwe, does it work? Are we talking about actually taking exactly?
What?
I mean, we want you to, because I know you're doing economics, finance and stuff. What do you mean when you say the right kind of investment?
Okay, it can be split into two. The
Okay.
right kind of investment considering the Zimbabwean economic situation, and also the right kind of investment considering our faith.
Okay.
The first being considering our faith, obviously, anything that goes against principle is out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it brings in as much money as possible, I don't know. All right, so we go back to the two types of investment. Well, the first being investment, which is proper in the Zimbabwean situation, and the second one, which is proper considering our faith. Obviously, we cannot talk about something that goes against principle. And at the same time, considering the Zimbabwean situation, I've heard of a lot of people who are saying, ndakatenga ma-shares with this certain bank, and zvakangonyura. So that's out as well. But there are things that were being talked about here. Kutenga something, all right, let's not say kutenga. Being a go-between, you know there's a gap muharari. And since there's a gap muharari, a certain product,
Let's say water.
let's
for
say
instance,
water,
yeah.
kwairi kuwanikwa kuMvuma. For example, being a go-between, anongo transporter water from Mvuma to Harare is investment enough. Because because of the gap that's there in Harare, Maria ya wakto since you're the one who transported the product. So I think this financial education is quite important in our boys so that they can become men. In this case, so that they can become Pastor Katusa and Pastor Gwati.
All right.
Because
I like the example. Keep on going.
Yeah, but you should have started with Pastor Gwati, then Pastor
That's what the
Katusha.
problem is. He started okay, the way it was. I like it. We did it very well.
But you see, one thing I like, young men, as you go on, is the problem is there's a lot of gaps. We have power problems, solar. We've COVID is actually a gap. There's so much that young people can do, but we're too smart.
But Kwati,
Yes.
You are talking as a man who's been tried and tested in the fire. You have no choice. If you don't make the money, your wife will starve. The boys have choices. It is a choice to go out and hustle. It's a choice.
But I can't have Ben ask me for airtime.
But he's saying financial intelligence is what we are lacking. Yeah. To say, I got $20 instead of going to Pizza Inn.
What should I do?
What should I do? Maybe let me use 5.
There's a gap in the...
There's a gap. What do I need to increase it? Let me go and buy tissue paper. It's going for $5 for 500 for 50. Let me sell tissue paper in my hood and make this one have babies to cover up the money I'm going to expend that side. We're not thinking like that. We are saying, how can I be seen to be selling tissue paper?
We're too smart for that.
We're too smart now. And ultimately, we've got well-dressed, poor young people.
Before we go for the break, now, this is what we want to do. For instance, let's take Tino's point, financial education.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot because you are a pastor, probably, and the elders, parents, under the dictates of our voice. What are we doing as a church, whether local church or whether the conference or what, to make sure that our young boys have this financial intellect, so that when they do have something in their hands, you hustle, you sell, you 20 Mandara, you do whatever you do, you now have about 30 US in your hands.
Yes.
What should you do with that? Should you buy the cologne that you've been talking about? Should you buy the brown shoes to match the green tie? Or should you have that financial intellect to say, now, I must look for a gap in the society. Where I stay, there's no electricity, there's no water, or there's no whatever. What is it? How can we bridge that gap?
What we do as a church, we start teaching the principles of stewardship. Unfortunately, people think principles of stewardship is just for church. Principles of stewardship go outside of church. One, the stewardship of time. How are you spending your time?
Yes.
If you are spending your time, Kwati, waking up at 12 o'clock as a man, the money is made from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Wow.
After 12 o'clock, you are making no money.
So there you have it, boys. If the sun wakes up before you, then you are in trouble. Join us again when we come back, and we're going to probably look at 2 more items that we need to help our young men. These are not exhaustive in them, but we're going to continue. Thank you guys for the beautiful, beautiful discussion. See you after the break.
Parijino hatinga jiwesese dakara taona Jesu ungetashingirira kare kare dufuna mojapera tichazo jiwesisa kare kare tashikeyo Parijino hatinga jiwesese dakara taona Jesu ungetashingirira kare kare dufuna mojapera tichazo jiwesisa kare kare tashikeyo tenzi wenu oya nebiri time biri takunda aloya to imbira nebiri to imbiri takunda tenzi wenu oya nebiri to imbiri takunda
Welcome back to the Men's Cave. Wow, there's some who have graduated from being boys already to become men, because there are certain things that boys do that men don't do, and certain things that men do that boys would never do. So we need to transit from boys to becoming the men that David said to Solomon, be thou a man. And yes, this is what we are discussing. Well, guys, time is not always on our side. Then as we come to the conclusion of this, what's the take home to the other guys who are at home? What is it that we can glean? I know we could have discussed quite a lot past the ticket, and I think we still have another opportunity to discuss more. Today we're focusing mainly on how do you make things come to end. Kevin, what is it that you'd want to challenge the young men out there?
Okay, so I'd say I'm a preacher, but it might not be an excuse for me to have a side hustle. Singing in a choir, doing doing God's work. We have an example in the Bible of Paul himself, one of the greatest evangelists of our time. But he actually say I was making tents as a side hustle aside, so that I didn't go as a church. So because of that, you aspiring to be someone in life must not be an excuse for you to have a side hustle. After preaching, you have to go home and eat. After singing, you have to go home and eat. After Health Expo, after eating buns and apples, you must go and face reality home. So this financial thing will come in our way, and we have to be a man enough to tackle it. Let's have side hustles. Let's play with good friends, people that have a vision, and let's sustain ourselves, and let's be men enough to be people who are responsible of their time.
Well, you ought to be responsible, because you definitely be accountable for who you are, because I mean, hey, a man has to be accountable.
A man is a man. You got to be accountable.
That's true.
Just got to be accountable.
Okay, so what are you taking home for Gugu today?
My take home is...
No, not your take home. I say, what are you taking for Gugu?
Oh, for her?
Yeah.
I think my bank balance should bring her joy. Before I spend.
Before you spend?
Yeah, I think she would hug me better.
She would hug you better?
My bank balance was okay.
Well, don't talk about hugs, because we still have boys. They have not yet men. Okay, let me talk to Talent. Talent, what is your take home? What do you want the young men at home to really grasp as a take home?
As an aspiring psychologist and someone who, by the grace of the Lord, will be up there. In psychology, there are 5 words that should be in the human vocabulary. What's in it for me? 5 words.
What's in it for? Yeah, true, there are 5.
5 words in the human vocabulary.
But what?
So, as a person, you need to know that when you are getting out of your house, there is something tangible, something productive you are going to do. Not just get out of the house and go shops and sit on the bridge with boys talking zero. Okay? You need to know kuti panduku buda mumba. There is something that I'm going out for. Something that I'm doing which is tangible. In personally, when I know kuti I don't have anything to do, as a person who enjoys his own company, but I also enjoy the company of others, I will spend the whole day at home. Like we have the Bible, the scriptures. So you might spend your day reading the Bible, reading psychology stuff, because psychology and the Bible, they work hand in hand. For example, in psychology, they say that, I just want to swerve a bit. They say, in an ideal society, there would be no need for lies. But we live in a world of deception. So whether you like it or not, you're in the game. So it's up to you to win or not. But I tend to criticize that. I just say that in an ideal society, there would be no need for lies, period.
Yeah.
So I advise the boys who are aspiring to be men to keep this in mind. These 5 words in the human vocabulary. What's in it for me?
So that doesn't mean that by getting married, you become a man.
Yeah.
Marriage doesn't make you a man. You're a man when you come into the marriage. So what makes you a man is how you put your grind together, put your ducks in a row.
Okay, Ben, what's in it for you? That would be the question.
Growing up is the ability to make decisions and act upon them. It does not necessarily mean having many years, as others may think of. But
So I lost you there.
I said, growing up is the ability to make decisions and act upon them.
Okay.
It does not necessarily mean having many years, as others may think of.
So life is not constituted by the number of years you've lived,
exactly.
but by the decisions that you made.
In those number of years you've lived.
And then he steals my lines.
Wow.
Exactly. Thank you.
Welcome to the group.
Well done.
All right. So now, what am I saying? As a man, right, or as an aspiring man, or boys who are aspiring to be men,
Yes.
right? We're saying boys to men, right? You need to come to a point whereby you need to stop being dependent on your parents, but your parents start depending on
You.
right? You need to give them that break, that relief whereby you can do something. I remember, Pastor Kwaj, remember that photo that we circled on WhatsApp and we were laughing of that young boy we had those 2 fish, right?
Oh, yes,
then
yes,
we had
yes.
that kid, and look at the age, and then he has something to bring what? Like at this age, right? So it's not always about having something that is huge and massive, right? But you know, those little
Something
things
to contribute.
Yes, they can appreciate. Saying, okay, KV has gone out, but when he got back, right? Because you've done something as a person, right? So the idea is for them to feel your worth within the house.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say this program is not only for the young man. Even for you, a young woman, it's good for you to know some of these things so that you challenge the
young
boy
man,
who
the
becomes
wooing young man, yes.
to say, hey, this is what you
You are
ought to
supposed,
do.
actually, when you are being asked out, you should have not the
Checklist,
criteria
yeah?
is short. No, what do
This is your grind.
And so when we are in town, what will we eat? Yeah, we should ask relevant things. How's your mother? I know I took care of my mother. These are the things we should be asking. Not his eyes. Is this? He's tall. He's light. Those are irrelevant. What if he gets burnt and becomes dark?
Yes, you know what, Pastor Dickens? Even these days, you know, these boys, they always complain. When you say, let's meet in town, then they'll be like, let us meet at Cream Inn or Nando's. Then you are worried. Sometimes maybe she wants to buy you ice cream whilst you're talking, then they change the
We have not met those.
It's very rare to find the women who will invite you to Nando's and they are going to actually take care of you.
They are trying to make the circle of movement very limited. To say, let's try and move around Nando's areas. Yes. Yeah. We're not saying they're not there.
No, I'm saying that, there's inclusivity, right?
Of course.
As much as it is boys to men, they are also our ladies,
Yes.
right? They also ought to be responsible, right?
Yes.
That means even when we go out, right? Even nakatenga drink, like ndaramatenga Zoses overtenga or drink, that's being responsible. Same applies being at home, right? Be responsible. Bring something onto the plate.
Well, I like the courage of Ben. He says, yeah, you must also be, I mean, I'll buy everything else. What you just need to do is to buy
The drink. Because his money can only fit other things. Yes, he doesn't have money for things.
No, that's fine. So, Tino.
All right. What I can take home is financial intelligence isn't something we have to learn or go to school for or attend a module or something like that.
All right.
It's in every choice that we make, every monetary choice that we make. We always have a choice.
You know what? I sometimes when I'm trying to process what this young man is saying. I want you to repeat exactly what you said. Because I mean, this is the conundrum we have. This is the problem that we have. We think that because I didn't do accounts, so I can be as extravagant.
Exactly.
I can be the prodigal guy.
That's it.
But I like this advice. It says you don't necessarily have to go and do accounting 101, but it's in the
Choices, small choices with 5
Are you
cents.
trying to show us that you both did accounting yet?
Of course we did. I mean,
You know where it's very
we already, man. Come on, look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Ben, follow the script.
101.
Ben, follow the script. We are the men here.
You are the boys. We're trying to bring you to where we
You're
are.
not allowed to ask us.
Yes, Tino, you can go ahead.
And in every decision that we make, we have a choice. And we have to, after making the decision, we have to look back. Did this decision leave me at a better place than when I started? Or am I worse off? Sometimes, obviously, you are going to be left worse off temporarily because money doesn't just come then. Sometimes it takes time, patience. So every time we make a monetary decision, let's make it a point that it leaves us at a better position than when we were. And, well, trying is always a good thing. Sometimes because of the economic situation, you start something and it doesn't go on well. But that's not a reason to stop. It's just a reason to maybe put more effort the next time so that it may go on well.
Exactly.
Well, before we come to the conclusion, Pastor Dickett, you do the conclusion. They say if at first you don't succeed,
Try again.
try and try again. The problem is many people, when they fall, they remain on the ground.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, that's the quality of a man.
That's
you
it.
need to, I mean, how many of us have got a bicycle from their parents and from the first day you were just cycling speaker? You need to fall down first.
Actually, I once got a bicycle. And there was this beautiful girl that was coming from school, and it was raining. So it was my first time to ride on the road. Now her beauty was perplexing. It just wiped me off. I just felt, so I went into a puddle of mud.
If not, you was a boy by then.
Yes, in my boyhood. So in my boyhood, I didn't realize that if I keep paddling on the mud, I'm getting deeper. So I paddled so much on the mud, I got to a point where I was just stagnant. And you know, when you are stagnant that long on a two-wheel bicycle, the next thing is for you to what? To fall. So she was coming. When she got close and I was stuck with this bike that was no longer moving, I tumbled in front of her. The embarrassment. But I picked up that bike and I had my head strong and I moved on. I learned from that.
How old were you by that time?
Doesn't matter because I learned that. I learned that and I never cycled in front of a woman.
About the perplexing beauty of the girl.
I was in Form 4.
Well, listen, guys.
Now that's where Pastor God says this is the conundrum.
No, this is the men cave. In the men cave is the men who ask the boys the questions.
Yes.
The boys don't ask the men the questions.
We are just sharing.
So please take back your questions. Well, we are coming to the end of our show. In this men cave, we've been discussing on on how young men need to grind. Well, Pastor DK, thank you for being the co-host in this one. I think next week it will be interesting because Mrs. KK with the ladies, you know, let me tell you the topic. It says from girls to heroes.
Heroes from heroes. So these are heroes.
Yes, and
so
they put an
girls
S.
Are moving from heroes.
So guys, if you don't pick up your grind here,
Hero.
you won't become heroes. We'll talk about heroes.
Exactly.
So before Pastor DK brings us to the conclusion, I want to say to the young men who are listening, even the girls, it's also good for you to learn on how you can also bring these things on the discussion. So Pastor DK, just conclude for us what we'll be discussing today. Like we said, this was not conclusive. We just probably took one or two aspects of what it is to develop the boys to become men. And I think we might have another discussion on the same
We should, because we just went superficially on the surface.
Yeah.
We were just talking generally, and that's what we do in a man cave.
Yes.
We have not gone to tell each other the truth, to say you need to up your game.
Yes.
We are just talking superficially to say, guys, this is what it is. And from what we've learned, from what the young man has said, I think even men need to know to be financially intelligent. There are battles of the cars, you know how we do. If you buy a new car, I want to buy a new car, but it leaves me broker and it doesn't change anything in you. There's so many battles.
If you're broken, it's better. You can be left broken.
Yeah. So there are certain things that we need to also put into perspective. And this is some stuff that we need to talk about, constructive conversations, where as men we build each other and set up each other. If you've got a hustle that needs my talent, there's nothing wrong in us collaborating.
Yeah.
But honesty and trust is what is needed. You must be trustworthy before you enter a transaction. This is what we are learning. And the stewardship of time, stewardship of money, God remains the center of all the hustles that we do. But before you get a girl, have a grind, or else she will grind you.
Well, that's what you get it from Pastor Dick. And before you
Killed my look. She will grind you.
Yeah.
okay, I think let's just do it together so that it makes.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Before you get a girl, you need to get a grind. Before she grinds you.
She grinds, yes.
Yeah. Because now you are going to be avoiding places where normal people go to. Because you don't want to.
There you have it, Pastor Dick. I love this moment. Wow, we are in a man cave. We are in a man cave. So these are allowed because our women are not here to be able to. Thank you for joining us on Reality Table as we are talking about how we can make our boys develop into men. Like we said, this was not exhaustive. We just took probably one or two aspects. We'll be back again to talk on this matter. Next week, please don't miss, especially for the guys. Mrs. KK and the girls are here to talk about from girls to sheroes. God bless you.
Women, all the women are there.
God bless you. Let's meet next week as we experience heroes.
Mambo wedu Latino shingaira Sekunge muvengi okunda Tenzi chitirirei Kare kare kuchema marwazo zapera Tichazo jiwisisa kare kare Tasikeyo Mambo wedu Latino shingaira Sekunge muvengi okunda Tenzi chitirwirei Kare kare kuchema marwazo zapera Tichazo ziwisisa kare kare Tasikeyo Tenzi wedu oya nemiri To impiri Namatai takunda Tenzi wedu oya To nemiri To impiri takunda Tenzi wedu oya nemiri To impiri Namatai takunda Tenzi wedu oya To nemiri To impiri takunda To impiri takunda ngeza enkosini wathi ngegama likaJesu ngathola ukukhululwa wesumthandazo wami wangithethelela wangingethula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo ngangisonesibi ngeza enkosini wathi ngegama likaJesu ngathola ukukhululwa wesumthandazo wami wangithethelela wangingethula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo yebo wethula umthwalo ungadlula yebo wethula umthwalo ngomthandazo wami lwami lwaphela uJesu wavusa umoya wami wangingethula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo yebo wethula umthwalo ungadlula yebo wethula umthwalo ngomthandazo wami lwami lwaphela uJesu wavusa umoya wami wangingethula umthwalo wangishiya uJesu wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngehlanzekile uJesu wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngehlanzekile kusi Jesu yangithanda kusi Jesu yamuthanda kusi Jesu wangifela lapho esiphambanweni kusi Jesu yangithanda kusi Jesu yamuthanda kusi Jesu wangifela lapho esiphambanweni uJesu wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngehlanzekile uJesu wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngehlanzekile ngizomethemba njalo ngobuya yasindlela uzongihola Jesu angisekele ezulwini ngolanda ngibongaphakade ngethula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo ngizomethemba njalo ngobuya yasindlela uzongihola Jesu angisekele ezulwini ngolanda ngibongaphakade ngethula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo yebo wethula umthwalo ungadlula yebo wethula umthwalo ngomthandazo wami lwami lwaphela uJesu wavusa umoya wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo yebo wethula umthwalo ungadlula yebo wethula umthwalo ngomthandazo wami lwami lwaphela Jesu wavusa umoya wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo yebo wethula umthwalo ungadlula yebo wethula umthwalo ngomthandazo wami lwami lwaphela Jesu wavusa umoya wami wangithula umthwalo wangishiya ngethulo